It embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems. A blade is like a tea leaf. Only those who sample it many times can appreciate its true qualities. A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems. So this is a day in the life of the traveler. I'm learning more about you all the time. A blade is like a tea leaf. Only those who sample it many times can appreciate its true qualities. A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems. I only wish life could be as leisurely as this a little more often. How greedy of me. A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems.
Hello everybody. Don't know why there's two of me. This is a consistent problem. Not to worry. A consistent problem that I can quickly fix. Look at that. Hey, hello everybody. My name is Blaze of Blazing Flames Studio. And as I move myself over here,
A blade is like a tea leaf.
how's everybody doing?
Only
Today
those who
is
sample
all
it
about the
many times can
viewers.
appreciate its
If
true
you need help
qualities.
with Abyss teams, if you need help with Imaginarium Theater, if you need help with character builds, or you just want to flex some sort of character build, put it in the chat. I will look at your account. Or if you have any questions, just put the question in the chat. It all works out. And while we don't have anybody in the queue, we're going to extend that service to anyone and co-op who would like it. You're going to be specifically looking for people in co-op who have the I need help. Because there usually are a few. It's Ninja. Low Taper Fate. Ninja has entered the world. Well, we do have a ninja. Hello. Can I help you? Want to hear a what? Sure. Why do I feel like I just saw a YouTuber do this recently? Was it Jonathan? I think it was the Jonathan. The person is either going to keep saying jokes, or is going to say the punchline and then leave.
The life of the traveler. I'm learning more about you all the time.
Very, very fitting of your avatar. 10 out of 10.
A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems.
There are leaves around, and I know just the tune to accompany them, if you wish to hear it. Time to go.
Thank you for the follow.
Time to go.
Thank you for the follow indeed, and yeah, sure. I will send you a request when I have the time. Sure thing. You got Ninja? How many 50-50s did I lose to get that C6 Farina? I believe 3? So it was balanced by a couple earlies. Well, yeah. Ninja has left the world. Ninja's back to Fortnite. Unsurprisingly. Alright. Now then. Stamlov22, thank you for the follow. How's it going? You got it. I will definitely do that. I also have a Discord that I use. It is linked in the description of all of my YouTube videos on Blazing Flames Studio on YouTube. And you can find the channel there. I'm currently working on trying to get that through a revamp. Alright. Now then, back to co-op mode. We need someone who... #1 Baiju on Earth. I can appreciate that. We need someone who needs help. Not that kind of help. Give Ayla constellations. Oh, I was hoping to see an Ayla. Name forth the two harbingers. No, nobody needing help here. That's just money. That's not what we're looking for here. Chasm, Hydro Queen. No. Remember days when you used to always see people having I need help in their name. Farina Main. I see. Help. Help is required. And so we go. Probably not going to be let in. Wow. Clearly don't need that much help. Nobody on my friends list clearly needs help. Twitch streamer? That's me. Perhaps we will have to expand. Please help me clear 2 domains. AR-25? I can help an AR-25. I've been there once. Hello. Oh, you required some assistance.
Another meaningless day.
I'm about to blow this AR-25's mind. Alright.
Another meaningless day.
Oh. Valley of Remembrance, Spiritus Invenerer. Curiosity. Just
Being too popular can be such a hassle. Who knew the people would adore me so much?
now you know what? Let's limit ourselves to top 1% characters today. Let's put a little bit, since we're doing the flexing. That seems like a good plan. Oh, clearing out submissions on the Adventure Handbook. Okay. That makes sense. This should be a snap. This.
Another test subject. Pick the wrong test subject. Good job. Another test subject. Another test subject. Free. Another test subject. Pick the wrong test subject.
Boom. Clear them nice and quickly. Why are a couple of these particular tiles lighting up? Going to another domain? Looks like we might be going to another domain. Round and round and round we go. Where we stop? Nobody knows. whole thing. My limitations on top 1% characters is 5, I believe. Sheng is 1. This is not looking like a team that's Ganyu is going to be particularly useful in. But that's fine. Even physical damage, I'm sure Ganyu is going to do
healthy mind.
a ton of damage and one-shot a few enemies.
We're way behind. You me.
Ranko.
Surprise! Strike a pose.
Done. Oh, that's the 3-star sword. Now, even on lower accounts, I never see that. So honestly, respect. That may be all the assistance that is needed. I hit the wrong button, didn't I? I did hit the wrong button. Oops. Well, they did only need help with 2 domains, so I don't feel that bad. But I did hit that by accident. Eulamain. Ella, thank you for the follow. Are you here for a character review? An account review? Some assistance with Imaginarium Theater? I'm doing well, thank you. Cryocube. I can help with the Cryocube. Let me know your UID and what characters you'd like reviewed, and put them in the chat. I will get to them as soon as I am done helping this person with the Cryocube. Hello. I needed help with the Cryocube. Nilu's proficiency on Chi-Chi. I appreciate this. Chi-Chi love? Can I see this Chi-Chi? I can see this Chi-Chi. No worries. Any help while I'm here?
2, breathe. 3, 4, and boring.
Also,
Isn't there
live
anything
on
else more interesting
Twitch.
to do?
Doing character. Oh,
1,
but
2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4.
alright, let me finish with Aiden. Yes, hello Twitch. Aiden says hi. What characters would you like to read? Non-wish characters, Lunella. Alright, I'll get to that. If you can post your UID so that I have the ability to find your account. Okay.
1, 2, breathe. 3,
One of.
4, and
Hello,
These
Cuban.
are a must for the well-mannered. If you'd like to learn the proper etiquette, I'd be happy to teach you.
Are you here for account reviews? Or assistance?
Let's go somewhere cooler. Rise.
Alright. I believe it was Navia and Risley. So let's start out with the Navia. Alright, I'll
Being too
hold off
popular
till you're...
can be such a hassle. Who knew the people would adore me so much?
Thanks for the offer, Lunaella. I think for the moment I'm gonna stick around being independent, but I appreciate it. Cuban,
1, 2,
if you can share your Discord,
4,
or not your Discord, your, sorry, I'm saying other messages. If you could share your UID and the characters you'd like reviewed, I will get them right after Aiden here. And Lunaella, still looking for the UID for your account review if you still want it. Alright, starting off, I'm going to look at Aiden's Navia. And let's see, let me get my Geo spread up here and get to Navia. There it is. Alright, 20,198 HP, 1822 attack, 898 defense, 23 EM, 94 over 183, a very impressive crit rate, crit damage ratio. Geo damage cup.
1,
And what am I thinking weapon-wise? Am I thinking proficiency? It could be verdict. Okay.
2,
Serpent Spine,
2,
R5, so you are a Battle Pass player, I see. And out of curiosity, okay, 2-piece golden, 2-piece Mars Shosei Hunter.
anything else more
Out of
interesting
curiosity,
to
is this a...
breathe, breathe.
Is this your permanent build, or is this a placeholder for something else? Also, I will go back to using the chat. Lunella, you're... Since I'm live on stream, I don't really have the opportunity to go into Discord, which is why I'm asking people to send their UIDs here. Alright, is this the permanent build? I've been trying to get her new artifacts. Alright. Plus 50-50 for her weapon. Yeah, I can definitely... yeah, Cuban, that's fine. I can use I can switch over to Akasha to look at your account. But yes, so looking at the Navia... Let me pull it up again.
Breathe, breathe.
I'd recommend going for the other Fontaine domain, the Echoes in Nighttime Woods. It is her best in slot. It was the artifact set that kind of came out with her. Nighttime Whispers in the Echoing Woods. Let's take a look at substats, though. Attack percent, we've got 28 CV here with a little bit of defense, which, weirdly enough, she really doesn't care about, despite being a Geo character. We've got 14 plus 19... 33, give or take, percent CV here. 39.5% here. This one isn't much different, and 28 CV here. So yeah, Echoing Whispers in the Nighttime Woods is her best in slot. However, if you prefer to just make things slightly easier on yourself, 4-piece Golden Troop is her second best in slot. Weapon-wise, obviously Verdict is her best. It's on par with Mavwika's weapon. But then you've got the best in slot second, which is Serpent Spine. At R5, max stacks, it actually performs as well as Mavwika's weapon. So I would recommend, however, are you pairing her with a shielder? Since the passive of Serpent Spine is, I believe you lose stacks. Depending on... Let me see if I can find my copy of that weapon. I believe it's that you lose stacks if you are...
3, 3, 4, and... Boring! Isn't there anything else more interesting to do?
Marina, be quiet. We're being of assistance. Or at least I am. You're trying to chill in the back. Yes, whenever the character takes damage, you do lose a stack. Chi-Chi, Dory, Navia, and Silali. Okay, so Silali serving as a shielder. So yeah, for that, I would definitely say... Oh, you absolute baka. Thank you for making me say that. How's it going? Thank you for the follow. Doing well. How about you? But yeah, so Echoes in the Night, Echoing Woods is the best in slot. Golden Troop is second best, and you're already halfway there for that. Of the pieces that you currently have on Navia, if you were going to go just to go for the 4-piece Golden Troop, I would recommend honestly trying to get. I don't know if you use the Sanctifying Elixirs. Sanctifying Elixirs are really useful for the sands in particular. But yeah, I'd recommend... The goblets are the hardest to find. If you already have a better goblet that you can use as off-piece, that's great. But definitely I'd say try to get these upgraded to Golden Troop if you're going to do that, or starting over and going for Nighttime Echoing Woods is honestly perfectly fine as well.
Can be such a hassle. Who knew the people would adore me so much?
And as for, I believe you said Risley. Risley 4-piece Marechaussee Hunter. That does not surprise me. I believe that's his best in slot. So let me check my info before
Hey, do you know
I do that. Yes, Marechaussee Hunter. Alright, attributes. 2027. Excuse me, that's a couple years away. Attack, 867. Defense, 93 over 160. Definitely glad you're... Wait, 93 over 160.
For the well-mannered.
Alright, we got Lost Prayer to the Sacred Winds, one of my personal favorite weapons. Artifacts, we've got 4-piece Marechaussee. Very nice piece here. That hurts. Oof. As a person who farmed Marechaussee Hunter for my Farina for 4+ months straight, yeah, that I feel that pain a ton. Okay, here only one roll into crit rate and crit damage. Crowd damage bonus.
2, 3.
Not horrible, and then this
4, 2.
C1. Very nice.
3, 4.
And triple crown. So I will say my biggest piece of advice I can give you here is you're running 93% crit rate on Risley. I don't know if you need that. I say that because his best in slot is Marechaussee Hunter. Marechaussee Hunter's trigger is well, going off of Marechaussee Hunter like that, when current HP increases or decreases, crit rate will be increased by 12% for 5 seconds. So you could honestly drop the crit rate hat because when you activate this passive, you're going to get crit rate. And if you're at max stacks, that's 36% crit rate. Right now, if you're at 93, you're over 100 just on the first stack, and you're then just having excessive crit rate. But the artifacts look nice. The one artifact I would definitely recommend trying to improve down the line,
1,
obviously this,
2, 3,
which can be quite rough.
4, 2, 2, 3.
And also, if you're using him, I'd recommend pairing him with Bennett, honestly. And then weapon-wise, You've got a pretty decent one here with Lost Prayer to the Sacred Winds. Most of his other options are limited 5-star weapons. Yeah, hopefully that is of some assistance. Is there anybody else you'd like me to look at while I am here?
Boring.
Alright. Well, thank you so much for letting me review your account. Itsuyoshi!
1,
And
2,
yeah, if you need any help in the future,
4.
feel free to send a friend request. I'm always down to help people. And yeah, thank you, Eternal Founder, for the follow. Have a great rest of your evening as well. And away I go. Alright, have not heard from Luna Ella, who is next in the queue, about the UID. So that means, I believe, Cuban, you are up next. And for that, we need Akasha. Thankfully, that should be fairly easy. Akasha! Eternal Founder, feel free to... I am, in fact, also on Twitch as of 3 or 4 days ago when I finally figured out how to multi-stream. I know, it's insane. But yes, Baka, you are next in the queue right after this, and I'm doing well, thank you. Alright, Cuban, I am getting your account up now. I do multi-stream, however, it's through Streamlabs, not OBS. Streamlabs is a lot easier for me to work with as a platform just because of it's made with ease of access in mind.
Being too popular can be
Alright.
such a hassle. Who knew the people would adore me so much?
So, Cuban, is your character or your account name Hoshi?
Tea parties are a must for the well-mannered. If you'd like to learn the proper etiquette, I'd be happy to teach you.
My main reason for asking is that currently there's nothing here. Okay. You must have gotten... Alright, I'm gonna directly paste. There we go. Alright, and we are looking for Sucrose main and working on building Shenyun. Also, a fellow top 1% Ganyu, I see. We are both in that regard. 3041 versus 499. You are better than yours is better than mine. Also, okay, you've definitely... I'm just going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say you've used Akasha before. But alright. Sucrose main working on building Shenyun. Where is Sucrose?
Boring. Isn't there anything else more interesting to do?
Sucrose, C6, running R... Oh. I appreciate this. 1,000 floating dreams, and Nihita's proficiency at R5. Okay. Let me pull up my Animo build guide that I have over here, and let's see what it has about everyone's favorite lab assistant. I'm going to take a guess here, Cuban, and guess that this is a... Eternal Founder, if you want to send your UID and then the characters you'd like reviewed, then I will get to them as soon as I am finished with everyone else in the queue. But let's see. So, Cuban, I'm guessing this is an EM support, Sucrose? Just you know, basing off of some general thoughts I'm able to determine just from the build as a whole.
Such a hassle. Who knew the people would adore me so much?
That is an insane amount of EM. Yeah, I mean, all that this really cares about is EM. You've got 100 EM here. 187 here, 187, 187. Stats don't really matter.
Isn't there anything else more interesting to do?
I will say... I mean, if there's any improvements I can recommend to this, 945 EM is already, you know, ridiculous. I guess it would be the flower. Only because with the flower, you would go... you've only got 21 compared to, you know, some of the others. Also, 100 Elemental Mastery on a Viridescent. We both have one of those, interestingly enough. A great amount of ER. Can I ask what team you use her in? And as I'm waiting on that answer, I'll move over to the Shen Yun you recommended. I take a look at
People would adore me so much.
Shen Yun. We'll keep Sucrose open up beneath. 4-piece. Let me see if I can remember the name of this set off the top of my head. Okay, so we've got 0 EM? Is that what I'm looking at here? Crane's Echoing Call, 16.5% attack. We got an attack percent, Goblet here, 40 CV. Why am I blanking? This is oh, this is the... Oh, is this DPS? Is this a DPS Shen Yun? Oh, it's not updated? Okay. Regardless, I respect a DPS Shen Yun. I mean, I'll judge it as it is currently. Hello, QU. If you're here for account reviews or just to flex some characters, just put your UID in the chat. And tell me what characters you'd like reviewed. And I will get to it as soon as I get through everyone else who is looking. But yeah, looking at this, 64 over 142, the crit rate, crit damage is nice. Eternal Founder, is that an NA account, or is that Asia, or just depending on what, if I use Akasha or if I use the in-game client?
Anything else more interesting to do?
I'll also say, obviously not the greatest rolls on the artifact, but I can find it very funny. It's like 10.5, 10.5, 10.9. A mathematically correct flower. Alright, Asia, so we'll use it on here. Alright. But yeah, this Shen Yun, I appreciate people building Shen Yun as DPS. It's one of those things where the longer you've played, the more nonsense builds you make. And obviously this is C6, so it kind of supports, supports that a bit better. But yeah. There is basically nothing I can recommend changing here. And you said these artifacts aren't the updated ones, so I'm going to assume that what you have on her is most likely even better than this. But this is already very good. And honestly, same for Sucrose. From a month ago. Oh wait, hold on. Last update 25 days ago. Let's see if I can fix this. There we go. I forget that it doesn't auto-update that stuff. Okay, Sucrose is slightly changed. Oh, 901. Okay, we lost a little bit of EM, but that's still fine. More energy recharge. 16, 18, 20, 100 EM, 21. Yeah, definitely still the flower here. Now, what happened to... Can I find the Shenyun now? Don't know why it doesn't auto-update on stuff like that. Oh, it looks like Shenyun may have disappeared when I updated. Unless I am crazy and missing it. I see Xingqiu and Xiao. Yeah, there's only that. So, yeah. Yeah, it's still not the current build, I guess. Alright. With that, yeah, I can't. There's very little I could recommend there besides just trying to get more EM.
Well-mannered. If you'd like to learn the proper etiquette, I'd be happy
Alright.
to teach you.
Let me go on. So you will be next in the queue after Eternal Founder, I believe. Yes. So let me head over and get Eternal Founder's account. Alright, Eternal Founder, and you said choose anything that interests you. Hold on. Oh, I need to add an 8. Thank you for not copying the entire thing. This you, Eternal Founder. Alright, cool. So what we have here, this lap's been updated 131 days ago. So let's give it a refresh.
Who knew the people would adore me
Cool.
so much?
Alright. We got a Zhongli, Raiden, Hu Tao, Traveler, Venti, Nahida, Miko, Yelan, Arlecchino, Aloy, Nuvalet, and Chi-Chi. What would everybody, since I was given specifications of anything that's interesting to you, chat, what would you like to review here? One immediately stands out to me. I imagine it might stand out to you as well.
Boring. Isn't
What should we take a look
more
at?
interesting to do?
Yes, you can, Cuban. I will go back to you. In fact, I still think, yeah. Well, I let chat decide what we should look at. I'm going to look at the Aloy. 43 over 118. Using Fading Twilight R5 level 90. 131 EM. CVs are maybe not the greatest right now, but I still appreciate having a Aloy in your build guide. Still semi-built. A lot of people forget about Aloy. One of these days I will top 1% my own Aloy. Alright. And then you said you were a Traveler main, so let's take a look at Traveler. And this is... Oh, more an Elemental burst. Okay, gotcha. Is this your... This is Pyro Traveler, okay. Pyro Traveler I can give dedicated buffs, or not buffs, but dedicated advice on. Let me have it ready. Is this a DPS Pyro Traveler or a support Pyro Traveler? Big question on what my advice can give. Hybrid. Okay. Well, for support Traveler, the best in slot is the Favonius Sword. For DPS, to go with not 5-star weapons, it's probably Wolffang or Iron Sting at R5. And you can even run Harbinger of Dawn. But that only assumes if the passive is always active, which isn't necessarily realistic. Regardless, the artifacts that I would recommend going for here is the Scroll of the Hero of the Cinder City, which, let me pull up its description in-game, is... Where I definitely have a Scroll of the Hero of Cinder City artifact. There we go. When a nearby party member triggers a Night Soul Burst, the equipping character regenerates 6 elemental energy, and after the equipping character triggers a reaction related to their elemental type, in this case Pyro, all nearby party members gain 12% elemental damage bonus for the elemental types involved in the elemental reaction for 15 seconds. The equipping character is in the Night Soul Blessing state. When triggering this effect, all nearby party members gain an additional 28% elemental damage bonus for the types for 20 seconds. The effects can be triggered from off-field, and the damage bonus from artifacts sets with the same name do not stack. So if you don't have anybody running Hero of the Cinder City, then I'd recommend putting Hero of the Cinder City on. Yes. So yes, I would recommend that for Traveler. Also, maybe trying to get a bit more crit damage on here. It looks like the Goblet and the... Looks like the Feather's good, the Goblet, and the rest could definitely use some improvement if you're going to go full-on dedication for it. I don't know how much dedication you want to put into it, though, since you said that... Yeah, since you said that that was near. Shiznaya is near. Is there anyone else you'd like me to take a look at? Looked at Aloy, looked at Ether. Those wondering, the Q is QU. We're going to look at Raiden and Wanderer. And then after that, we're going to go back to Cuban to show Raiden. I'm right in your account next. Okay, see anyone interesting? We can do probably one or two more before we move on. We've got a Chi-Chi with Ocean-Hued Clam, Neuvillette, Hu Tao. Who do we rarely see in builds these days? Well, Chi-Chi for sure. Chi-Chi, full-on healing, 73% healing bonus, Black Sword at R5. And this is just prioritizing. Well, no, that's attack. C4 Chi-Chi. Alright, let me pull up my Chi-Chi guide. Attack percent, crit rates of 4 priority substats. You're not super having issues. Crit rate you only really need when you're using Favonius Sword because it triggers the elemental reaction, so... Honestly, her best in slot is Sacrificial or Favonius. You don't need to tie up your Black Sword on this. Ocean-Hued Clam, obviously, is an option. That is her around third best in slot, assuming that her elemental burst is up often. She's not able to get it up often and is mainly relying on her skill for healing. If she's in a high energy team, this can be better than her best in slot, Tenacity of the Millelith. So I'm gonna guess she's in this particular Chi-Chi is in a high energy comp. Yeah, the crits from Black Sword, yeah. I'm simply stating if you're looking for just to keep healing, then probably go something like Sacrificial or Favonius Sword. Favonius Sword is good for energy, and Sacrificial just letting you, in turn, doubling your skill a lot of the time, which in turn generates more energy particles. She's the DPS one. Okay. Gotcha. Rare to see a DPS Chi-Chi, but I appreciate it. Alright. With that, at least for the moment, I'm going to hop over to the next person in the queue, which I believe is 60k per pop is good. I won't lie. You could try. Oh no, you already have a healing bonus, so you're fine. All right, Q, are you here? All right, we are moving on to QU. WandaVision. QU specifically asked for Raiden and Wanderer. Alright, well, we got Wanderer at top 1%, so let's start with the top 2% Raiden. Taser, I'm already seeing 4-piece Engulfing Lightning. Always a good one to have on perhaps the greatest way of recharging your energy that this game has. Let me get... there it is. Alright. Engulfing Lightning, R1, level 90, 17,687 HP, 2,714 attack, 16 Elemental Mastery, 57 over 167, 4-piece Emblem of Severed Fate. So we have 35 CV with 14% attack and 28% crit damage, 3.1% crit rate, 14.4% crit rate on this one, 5.4 crit damage, 34% crit damage on this attack percent Goblet with 21.8% crit damage and 3.9% crit rate. And then a crit rate with 27.2% crit damage. Overall, very nice pieces. 5, 8, 10, C1. Very, very nice. Let's see what I could recommend here. Is this just a general DPS or is this a Hyper Bloom? Raiden Shogun. General DPS. Alright. DPS, obviously best in slot Engulfing Lightning, Emblem of Severed Fate. What can I... The one thing I could potentially recommend trying is maybe seeing how an Energy Recharge Goblet, or not Goblet, Energy Recharge Sands would do. And you're already at 247. But it's definitely worth considering. It's something I've also tried myself a couple times before I decided on what I was doing. But you've prioritized stats really well. Crit rate, crit damage, attack percent, they're all here. Elemental Mastery, not super needed. But that's more for the Hyper Bloom, incidental Hyper Blooms on the general DPS build. But overall, maybe just for the sake of either trying to get a better attack percent Goblet, where you get crit rate and crit damage. You don't have that currently, but you're also, I'm guessing this rolled into crit damage every single time, which makes it slightly harder to replace. Though at this, yeah, ER stands is similarly decent and only one stat of crit, only one set of crit and actually lower crit damage. Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. That certainly makes sense. Okay. And then Wanderer, I guarantee you I'm going to have basically nothing to say about Wanderer. Considering top 1%. C1, R1, 2,111 attack, 23 EM, 87 over 194 with 130 ER, and 61.6% animo damage bonus. Okay. They're running a 4-piece Desert Pavilion Chronicle, which I believe is his best in slot. Let me check before I say that. Yes, 4-piece Desert Pavilion Chronicle. Tutilia's Remembrance is the regular attack. Best in slot. Sands is attack percent. Indeed. Off-piece 14.8, 14.8. That's funny. Goblet animo damage bonus. Indeed it is. And Circlet crit rate, crit damage. It's crit rate, crit damage. Yeah. And then talent-wise, Triple Crowned. Gotta love it. And looking at this, the one thing I could potentially say improving, looking at this, I mean, you've got 240 CB artifacts on here, so there's really not a ton you can do. The Goblet would probably be the thing that's holding your character back the most. Only because, yes, you have 22.5% crit damage. But honestly, you could get additional crit rate on that, but I don't even know if you need it. Double crit stats are always nice, but it's not exactly needed when you already have 87. I mean, beside that, you've got crit rate, crit damage here. You've got crit rate, crit damage here. Everything else has double crit stats, which is the only reason that this stuck out to me is it doesn't have that. But I don't even know if you need it with what you currently have. You're already pretty well rounded overall. I mean, even the graph shows you're basically a perfect circle, beside ER being slightly lower. But yeah, I mean, also I like how it's in top 1% and hyper 130%, having being 0.4% over 130. So just barely making the benchmark. All right. Yeah, I mean, that's the only real recommendation that I can give you here. With that, however, Eternal Founder, are you still here? Hopefully the tips I was able to give Q are at least somewhat helpful. Happy to help. My Discord that is linked in the description of all my videos, and I believe has a link in my bio for Twitch. It's been a while though, so that may be outdated. Also, in the Genshin Impact channel that I have, does have a link to the build guide that I use. It's the official Hoyoverse one from the Hoyoverse Discord. And if you ever want to kind of use that, it usually coincides with what's going on with Akasha, for the most part. So it's something I've definitely used in the past. Eternal Founder, are you still here if I go back and take a look at your write-in? Or sorry, not you, Eternal Founder. Cuban, are you still here? You were asking for the write-in. I will give Cuban a moment to respond. Alright, Cuban, you are still here. Very cool. Alright. Going back to the Akasha system. Put yours back in. And you said you're Raiden Shogun. Alright. Where is Raiden? Top 3% Taser Raiden. Let's go ahead and refresh just to make sure everything's updated. Alright, cool. Raiden Shogun. C6, R5, 81 over 162, 258.9 ER, 4-piece Emblem of Severed Fate, 61313, 52% CV artifact. This is definitely one of the flex builds. 42 CV, 37 CV, 41, and then obviously 29.5. That probably, yep, definitely your best in slot, best artifact by a significant margin. I mean, yeah, there's not really a ton I can recommend here. It's a C6 R5 Raiden with insane stats. Maybe try for a Sans that has double crit on it, but like beside that, that's the only thing I could really think to tell you. With that, we are currently having no one in the queue. So if you are interested, put your UID. You almost trashed that feather? That would have felt bad. But yes, if you are interested in watching, put your UID in the chat. Put the characters you are interested in me checking out in the chat. And you'll be next up. While we're waiting, however, since this is character builds and flex, since we're currently at a hiatus, I will do my own account review. And by that I mean I'm going to review myself. And I'm going to be very harsh because it is, you know, I usually focus one at a time. So, Raiden Shogun, 73 over 148, 4-piece Emblem of Severed Fate, off-piece a 28% CV circlet. Honestly, I know I can do better on the goblet, but I got her to 1%, I was like, cool. I got her to top 1% on a YouTube series that I called The Road to Number 1 Keqing, where all of the garbage artifacts that I got that weren't enough to get her to 1% got right in there. So that was fun. Also, this artifact was not enough to get Keqing to top 1%, but it was enough to get right in there. And yes, for some reason, I have more EM than the average 21 EM of Raiden Shogun, so that's fun. Ganyu, having 48.2, which I believe is still to this day my best artifact on this Gladiator's off-piece. 44 over 298 with 4-piece Blizzard Strayer, so probably right around 70% crit rate, if I remember Blizzard Strayer passive correctly. C1 running Aqua Simulacra at level 90. 10, 7, and 8, crowning, of course, the normal attack. Also could be better, not gonna lie. But we take what we can get. Keqing took 4 months, 3 to 4 months, I'm not entirely sure, of straight farming, saving every resin that I got for the Road to Number 1 Keqing to finally get her there with 2-piece Shimenawa, 2-piece Thundering Fury, 68 over 253, C6 R1, triple crowned. Actually been able to use her in Abyss, even recently, and it's quite nice. And yes, I may not have the amount of EM that normally has, but by golly, I got a lot of ER. Nilou, 45.1 CV, 36.1, 37 over 124. This is a Vape, 120% ER. C2 with R1. 4-piece Golden Troop on a domain that I have way too many artifacts of. And finally, the creme de la creme of my account. Since launch, been C6. C6 R2 picked up a copy of the weapon on her most recent rerun. 35 CV, 47.4, 42.8, 43.5, and then 10-13-13, built entirely for DPS. All of these builds could be improved. I do find it funny that I'm so far above the average. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. It took a couple months to get all the artifacts in perfect condition. And this was before the Sanctifying Elixir existed. So this was just pure, just hard farming for this every single day. I did not pre-farm for her. So I had to farm all of these as I got her. She is a staple of my Abyss team. She carried me through Imaginarium Theater. And yeah. In terms of my best artifact, I believe it is, in fact, yes, the Gladiator's Longing. I do have a 47% Shaft of Remembrance from Shimenawa's that is currently not on anybody. And then Farina's Goblet is the same CV. Raiden has the feather. Yelan has the other feather. And they've both had this at some point in time. But yeah, with that, let's swap back over to Genshin while we wait for more people and see if we can help some people in their worlds. Da-da-da-da-da. Who needs help in co-op mode? Surely somebody. Okay, nobody on that page. Nothing there. Ganesh. Don't see anything here. Surely somebody needs some assistance. Well, that sounds like a cry for help. Never mind. Curses! Oh boy, the R&R. I don't even know if you can help with the R&R quest. But I will attempt it. And I'm going to queue out because I'm probably not going to be let in. Artifact domains. I can help with that. Alright. Clearly doesn't need that much help. Help is welcome. Let's find out if that's really the case. If help is welcome, then I should be let in. Why, hello there! Do you require assistance? Why do I feel like I'm about to be in a fight? Nope, I'm facing a rock. Hello. Saw you needed assistance. What doth thou need assistance with? Perhaps it makes more sense for me to get someone, if this is going to be Natlan related, who can more easily traverse Natlan. For example. That is a cleave. Let's go ahead and equip some food. Sure thing. Well, if anyone wanted to see the Farina in action, you're about to. Guessing you don't want that?
Shower me with praise. Let my
Let's do some damage.
light it up.
Da-da-da, as Klee would say. Gotta teleport out because for some reason, it doesn't reset like it used to.
Try and stop me.
Yeah, that should be enough time. Coming through.
Gotcha. Here comes the action. Let the world come alive.
From the top rope. Teleport on out. Who'd you fight with?
Try and stop me.
How'd that go for you, bud? Not well? Didn't think so.
Rev the engines.
Hello. It's me again.
Shower me with praise. Time to
Pop the ult and finishing blow. Quick and easy if you'd ask me. Nobody else around for you to pick fights with, eh, guys?
try and stop me.
I remember when it took 3 minutes for bosses to respawn. That wasn't that long ago, actually.
Strike a pose.
Definitely glad they changed it.
Let the world come alive. Pyroclastic surge.
Bonk. Alright. Things are going fairly smoothly. We can do 3 more runs of it before we move on to the next person.
Full throttle.
Let's go, Farina.
Rise with the sun! Try and stop me! Wrath from the skies!
Where did it go? Away go.
Game's up. Fun silver. Yoo-hoo! Let the world come
Pop deal. Pop deal. Quick and easy. You know what they say.
Let's ride! Rev the engines! Here comes the catch! Wrath from the sky!
Boom.
Oh, jumpy, jumpy, go!
Huzzah! The monster has been defeated. Congrats. Happy to help. See ya. Wow. Alright. And I'm guessing this is... Yep. There we go. Added. If you're still here, Aiden, you have been added. Let's see who else needs help. Not that kind of help. That I can't help with because I'm too high level. Not the ninja. What's up, Crown? How's it going? Are you here for account reviews? Hello? Thought you needed assistance. Is that true? I'm on NA, but I could use the Akasha to see other regions. I'll follow you.
Tea parties are a must for the well-mannered. If you'd like to learn the proper etiquette, I'd be happy to teach you.
I can look at your Skirk set. That being said, since I don't really look at leaks, trying to get in the Hoyo content creator program and all that, I won't be able to tell you if they're necessarily good for Skirk. Just to be completely honest with you. All I really know about Skirk is that she's cryo. And that's from the official announcement. I don't even know if I've ever been in this domain. Gotcha. I'm gonna help the person I'm gonna help Poe first. Once I've finished helping Poe, I will move on to your account. If you can give me the UID region, and you already told me Ayato, so UID and region, then I will get to it as soon as I'm done here. All right.
Next on the agenda.
Let's go, Farina.
This is long overdue.
Your turn, Ganyu. Done. There is a wall over there. On my infinite exploration dreams. Grab these. Run back. Boom. Judging by the fact you're already pre-farming, I'm going to guess that you're excited for Skirk Crown? Judging by your UID, I'd be guessing that you've been playing a decently long time, considering the sheer amount of zeros. Yeah, I'm at least getting her. I don't know about her weapon. Yeah, I have been playing since game launch, and have every character in the game as of now. guessing off, we're going off condensed. I imagine there were not too many runs left going on here. Yeah, every signature should be great, except for, well, Vortex Vanquisher. We don't speak of Vortex Vanquisher. And we don't talk about the aesthetic of Key of Kaj-Nasut. How Nilou ended up with such a sad weapon. Shakes me to my core. Every time.
We're way behind schedule. For Rex Lapis.
Freeze! Boom. I mean, at least, the thing is, for Yoimiya and Ayaka, at least the weapon made sense because it was region-based. You could at least argue that Thundering Pulse and Engulfing Lightning, not Engulfing Lightning, Mistsplitter Reforge, are Inazuma weapons, so it makes sense that they're at least purple, because they did have the Electro. Yeah, the closest you could say is it looks like Cynos, but they didn't, like... Cynos, it made sense because he was from the desert. Nilou wasn't. Plus, they put so much detail into both of her outfits that it's like, why did we go with this? Why was this the choice? Like, even Diaz, it makes sense to use that aesthetic. For Beacon of the Reed Sea. Just Nilou, it did not make sense at all. And I say this as a person who has a top 1% Nilou running Key of Kaj-Nasut.
Let the world collide! Blazer! Are we coming?
Next on the agenda.
Keep you nice and chilled, Ruin Grader. Done. You have been killed. How does it feel? Alright.
We're way behind schedule.
Time to shine!
Access denied. For Rex Lapis.
And roll it on back. Also, why I have been helping here. Yeah, I do my best to help people when I can. Also, Crown, is your IGN just Crown? I have Akasha up in the background. Putting that up. Yeah, I do my best. I've been playing since launch, as I said, so I remember a time when getting help when I needed to get a lot of help. Heck, I remember when everyone needed help back at launch. Back when, you know, D-Luke was the best DPS. We had to spend resin for our limited time events. Good old Elemental Crucible. Back when Ruin Guards were the worst enemies in the game, along with Electro Sisson mages. Looks like that may have been it. Alright. Well, with that, let me swap over. This is your account, yes? Alright, and you said, let me double check here,
Cherishes their gems.
Ayato with a Cryo Goblet. Alright. Top 77% even with that. Funny. 56 over 238.9. I will ask, is this the Skirk artifact stuff? Or is this just Ayato's pieces that he randomly has a Cryo Goblet? Gotcha. So in that case, since you're saying that, I'm assuming that this is not the Skirk artifacts, this is just
As a jeweler
Ayato has a Cryo Goblet. Okay, you will be putting the goblet on Skirk. The rest of this is Ayato's core pieces? It just depends on how I rate this. I can either rate them independently or I can rate them in regards to how they would go on
I
Ayato.
wish life could be as leisurely as this a little more often. How greedy of me.
This is the complete set. Okay. Ayato's just a placeholder. Okay, in that case, I'm going to grade this independently of each other, assuming that she needs 4-piece Marishosei Hunter, and that's where we'll go from there. Alright, looking at this. 46.6 CV on this. Without knowing stats, CV looks great. I mean, overall, your stats look great. You're running Marishosei Hunter. So, you're going to get, I'm guessing, 30 CV off of that. 30 crit rate, so that'll put you close to about 80 or 90 crit rate. So 90 over 238, give or take. This one is decent. Then you've got crit rate, crit damage here. Crit rate, crit damage here on a cryo damage goblet. And crit rate, crit damage here. This is definitely the weakest of them, I would say. Actually, I mean, it's crit rate, crit damage. It's probably, if you're going for the weakest artifact, this. Flat HP and then flat EM. Well, flat EM, of course, flat EM. But, I mean, overall, the pieces look fine.
A blade embraces its duty. As a jeweler
is the black sword going to be what you put on her if you don't get the weapon, or 248 crit damage? Okay. Yeah. Let's just assume Marishosei Hunter stacks are going off all the time. 3 stacks puts you around 90, so 90 over 248. I'd say this looks pretty good overall, from what I know, which is incredibly limited knowledge. Oh, play
Like
Farina
this
with
is a
her?
day in the
Gotcha.
life of
Yeah, I
a
did hear that she's a decent support for
I'm
Farina.
learning more about you all
At
the
least from
time.
what people have speculated. Granted, any cryo character is going to be good with Farina because of freeze.
A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems.
Yeah, I may agree with you on that regard.
A blade is like a tea leaf. Only those who sample it many times can appreciate its true qualities.
Yeah, while I'm here, is there anybody else you'd like me to take a look at, or since I'm not super helpful in regards to the Ayato, or rather the Ayato Skirk. Yeah, Scoffy is great. I'm glad I pulled her, and I even got her weapon, and like 20 pity. Look at Mavuika or Nuvi. Sure, I can do both. Nuvalette, R1, done with the Eternal Fro, E1, 4-piece
I only
Marsha
wish
say
I could be as
Hunter.
leisurely as this a little more often. How greedy of me.
And yeah, I mean 4-piece HP on the Sands, Hydro Damage HP Goblet. You chose, this is HP. And Circlet is crit damage, 17 crit rate. You're getting stacks from 1066, eh? Okay. I'd recommend leveling the Burst. I would definitely recommend that. Burst and skill. Honestly, Nuvalet's probably one of those that is actually worth a triple crown for those that are using him fairly consistently, which, looking at this build, I'm going to make an assumption you probably are. Especially with Constellations and Proficiency Weapon. Of these, maybe the thing I would recommend trying to work on maybe is this artifact. It's the weakest in terms of, I mean, there's this as well, but goblets are incredibly hard to farm. I know that from experience. Mavuika, top 17%. 59 over 225, 4-piece Obsidian Codex, 43.5% CV Flower, 16% attack, 17 over 6, 8 over 15, Pyro Damage Goblet, 18 over 7, and then 10 over 62. E0 R1. I mean, honestly, looking at this, maybe try to get some more crit rate. Honestly, crit rate probably your biggest issue, if I had to say so. 59%. It's slightly over 50, unless Obsidian Codex, am I remembering? I need to check on Genshin real quick. I need to remember what Obsidian Codex does off the top of my head. Does that interfere with crit rate at all? No, it's a damage. Oh no, yeah. When it consumes nice level points, its crit rate increased by 50% or 40%. So ignore me on that. You're fine on crit rate. So that should be like 99.2 over 225, give or take. Listen, I basically got Mavuika partially there, and then started a YouTube stream or YouTube series for the Road to #1 Kaching, where I spent 4 months on farming Thundersoother and Emblem of Severed Fate. So basically any other artifact set has gone out of my mind. Yeah, it took like 3-4 months to get Kaching to top 1%. I got Raiden Shogun there accidentally from the pieces that I farmed for Kaching that didn't get her there. I mean, I absolutely can. This is Kaching. This is she. How much crit rate does she get from Ascension from A1? Oh, we're passive. Let me check. Let me swap back over to Yoink. Can you tell I was checking Obsidian, what Obsidian Codex does? Electro, Kaching, A1. Yeah, with casting Starward Sword, Kaching's crit rate is increased by 15%, or energy recharge is increased by 15%. And does she get crit rate after burst? Yeah, she gets crit rate after burst. 15% and then 15%. Yeah, it's A2. A1's just Electro Infusion. Thankfully, Ayaka's weapon looks really good on Kaching. Yeah, I'm kind of glad that she's been doing fairly well, because I've actually gotten to use her in Abyss, which was not something that I've been able to do for a while. I kind of just play her on... I go for usually Hyper Bloom. I'll pair her with, like, Emily and some Hydro Applicator, sometimes Nilu, sometimes Farina. But Farina's more of a DPS for me since she's C6. I have not tried a Chevres team. As I previously mentioned, all of my resin for like 4 months went into just Kaching. In fact, I have been sitting on
Please.
only recently being able to... I just recently got Varessa up from level 40 to build her. Mizuki is still sitting all the way down here. Mizuki doesn't have artifacts and isn't built. Siegewing, well, Siegewing's kind of just been there, but Eon-san as well, Auroron, Aoife.
Yes, sunshine. So, where shall we go for a walk?
Fontaine. Ayaka, we went to Fontaine for a walk. Alright, let me grab a couple of condensed resin, because there's actually something today that I think I need to farm. Now that I'm thinking of it, and I can probably... Oh, come on.
Let us find shelter from the rain.
How am I supposed to get crystal flies when it's raining?
There's a pleasant breeze and glorious sunshine.
Yeah, I can't get up there.
Where shall we go for a walk?
Are you... Don't you dare. Get over here. Alright. You cannot hide from me! You can fly away, but thankfully I got you that time. And now I have to try to intercept this one. If only we had a gadget that made it really easy to get crystal flies. That actually was worth using. If I'm remembering correctly, Verdict's weapon is... or Verdict's Ascension material is today. Something I randomly got when I was trying for Escoffier's weapon. Are you today? No. Never mind me. I don't know what I'm talking about. Are you today? No. Also, that pains me that I can craft 3 and I'm 1 off. Yeah. Are you today? Oh, you're not available today either. My goodness. Nothing I need to farm is today. Yeah, I think they might have. I'm not 100% sure. And I think I remember briefly hearing something about that in the dev discussion. I guess I really haven't done anything that's gotten me the long-term encounter points. Yeah, the condensed limit being at least increased would be nice, but I don't think they're going to do that. I mean, it took a long time for us to even get a resin increase in the game. Didn't it used to be like 120? I remember my Genshin history. Doesn't seem... Yeah, true. I think until 1.2 it was 120. Then they increased it to 160, I want to say. And then it took like 2 years for it to get put up any further. Yeah. Anybody else need assistance? Yeah, at least 200 you can get 5 condensed out of it. Please help me with the Bathismal Bishop herd. I can assist with that if you let me in. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Need help with domains? Somebody sell help? Really didn't need that much help. Yeah, I definitely agree. We could, if we could get more, we could. Oh, you'll see them all the time. Instagram, Twitter. I refuse to call it X. Twitch especially. Yeah, no. That's the one kind of help I will not be helping with. I need help exploring Sumeru. Sure. Clearly you don't need help exploring Sumeru. With what? I guess would be the only way I can really say that. Help with Natlan exploration? Also, that is not Kokomi. That's definitely not Kokomi. We got a full party here. This is not Natlan. Hello. Twitch chat says hi as well. Stay hi, Twitch chat. That. People who are just saying, I need Primo Gems. I need help with Primo Gems. Well, some people are freaking out. That's why you needed assistance.
Boring. Isn't there anything else more interesting to do?
Wherever in this world I roam, I carry memories of
Well, these folks seem quite entertaining.
this blade. It is the last link I have to the land of my birth.
Tree for the Through the Mist quest. Oh, is that where we are? Oh, gosh, no. Not this. Holy, I gotta figure out where this tree is. I haven't done this quest in years. Oh, I feel like I remember there was a way to find these. Isn't there a gadget that at least helped with it? Twitch chat, if you happen to remember where in the world this tree is, I will take any assistance that I can be given. Well, looks like it's been found. I definitely don't have fond memories of this quest. Oh yes, this.
Shower me with praise!
Spawn fury. The wind rises.
Go, my minions! Hello, hello, welcome to the stream. Gorilla, thank you for the follow. How's it going?
I'm not the friend to come to for words of comfort or encouragement. But when it comes to weighing the costs of your actions,
Reviews
ask
are...
away.
It's going well. We're doing account reviews and helping just people in co-op who have I need help in their kind of description chat. This person wasn't lying. What do you take me for? I'm gonna lie about being on Twitch? Well, that's just rude. If you'd like your account reviewed or any character, yeah, I don't know. Kanish Mingler might need help. Technically this is Kikomi's account. Well, Kyoka needs some help. Alright, fine. On the way. You may be able to guess what quest this is.
This is the end.
When did you die? Nope. Hold on. I see damage numbers. Hi there.
Strike a pose!
Dangnabbit. Get me out of here. I hate this fog. Did anyone even like this quest? I mean, thankfully I don't have to do a ton. Oh, thanks for coming to me, buddy.
Worthless as expected.
Thanks, Wander. I appreciate that. I liked the Kazari quest. But, you know, I did it before she was renamed to Hanachiru Sato. The Sacred Sakura Cleansing. I like that quest.
Time to go. Wind strike.
Strike comes!
Alright, well, we broke the tree. I remember this quest was annoying because didn't you have to do it over the course of like a week? Because it was time gated? Oh my word, the fog is gone. How incredible.
Shower me with praise!
Yeah, the Kazuha ride moment was pretty good. I'll give it that. I'll give it that. Would you like your account reviewed out of curiosity, Brilla? Since I know that was the title of the stream, and still is technically what we're doing.
There's no need
I'm going to take an assumption that people who are coming in would like something reviewed, or at least would like assistance in game. Alright, is that an NA account, or... EU, alright. 7 is always EU. Good to know. Good to know. What characters would you like reviewed, Barilla?
Being too popular can be such a hassle. Who knew the people would adore me so much?
Yeah.
Relax.
Inari main, I choose. Got it. Let me pull up the UID and head over to the lovely Akasha. I see we have a fellow Twitch streamer here. Is this you? Alright. Well, let me do a quick refresh since it's been 19 hours since a refresh. And you did say you were a Tighnari main, so let's go with Tighnari, shall we?
Are a must for the well-mannered. If you'd like to learn the proper etiquette,
Let me
I'd
pull
be
up
happy
my
to teach you.
Tighnari notes. Where are my Tighnari notes? There we go. C6, Triple Crowned, R1, Hunter's Path, so his proficiency weapon. 75 over 217, running 4-piece Wanderer's Troop. Interesting. We got a 48 CV Viridescent off-piece. That's enviable, considering we all know how annoying it is to farm Viridescent Venerer when it's the same domain that contains perhaps
Boring.
the most annoying thing to get of all time, Maiden Beloved.
To do.
35 CV here, 39 CV here, and, 14 CV here. I mean, overall, this looks like it does a lot of damage. And it looks very good. The one thing I would say is maybe try to get double... I mean, you're obviously wanting crit rate, crit damage on Tighnari, so... I would say maybe work on trying to get crit rate, crit damage on your Wanderer's Sands. Might even be... might be worth doing a... What is it called? The Sanctifying Elixir?
Tea
Could be
parties
worth
are
doing
a
that.
must for the well-mannered. If you'd like to learn the proper etiquette, I'd be happy to teach you.
But, I mean, if you're already comfortable with the damage he does, then I don't see any reason to do anything with that. Oh, it's one of those. Yeah, I feel that. Nice. What else do I see here? What's something you don't see very often? Honestly, you don't see Shao very often. Let's take a look at Shao. R1C1, 81 over 203, 4-piece Vermilion Hereafter. That is his.
Boring.
Is that his new best in slot, or is it the new plunging attack one?
Interesting to do.
I think it's probably still this. Unless they've just really messed stuff up. Is it Vermilion? Oh no, it's Marshose. Okay, it's tied with Marshose Hunter. Okay. Well, I guess that would make sense because he does lose HP quite a bit. Best in slot is Homa, tied with Primordial Jadewing Spear. 81 over 203, 28 CV, 45 CV, 21 CV, but obviously that's a goblet. We don't take that into account. 27.2, 40.4, my word.
I'd be happy to teach you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hate on a goblet that has you know. Yeah, new plunging is slightly better. Overall, looking very good here. I don't know how close you are to top 1%, but I'm guessing if you were able to improve the stats of the goblet, you'd probably get there, just judging from experience. Shenhe, I don't see very often. We'll take a look at Shenhe. Calamity Queller, you have the skin. That raises the question. Clearly, you're free to play. Clearly.
Being too popular can be such a hassle. Who knew the people would adore me so much?
Oh, this is just buff Shenhe. I was like, where are all the crit stats? Oh, no. I was just making I'm just making a joke, Barilla. Just making a joke. Not to worry. As you could probably guess, I'm free to play. Okay, I'll take a look at Kanish. This is clearly free-to-play behavior. I don't know what you're talking about.
Today's recommendation is steak.
You think you'll be going for any Kanish cons with the update? Because he is currently here, I believe. Yeah, he is. Think you might try to go for the finishing blow? Oh, you got C4 on this banner. He was C3 before. Well, there you go. I'm just gonna say... This looks more... I mean, yes, he's C6. But honestly you could say you're more of a Kanish main. Because Tighnari, he's a standard banner. Broke. Yeah, thankfully I have all these characters, so I am just saving up. $39 over 240. Where's the crits? We gotta get the crits. Even with Obsidian Codex, that's only at 79. You gotta at least get a little higher than that. You gotta at least get 80. You need that point. You gotta get 0.6 more % crit rate to be a certified Kanish main. Yeah, also, I appreciate Deathmatch Emily. Emily has had enough and wants to kill everybody. This is the forensics part of Emily. not the perfume one. All right. Well, let's see what other randoms in co-op. Considering we've had so many interesting... What in the world? This hurts my eyes. When did this become a thing where people started changing the color? Who needs assistance? That is what we are here to do. You may not like it, but this is what peak help looks like. What in the world? My eyes! My eyes!